Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Schneider. Welcome to the Song Club.
I knew it was a bad idea to meet you here, my dear. 'Cause now that I've done it.
Oh, yeah. Here we are once again in the Song Club, live on the internet. I said it last time, and I don't even know why I said it, because don't need to say it, because everything's on the internet. If it's not on the internet, it doesn't exist. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to all my Patreon friends, and I would say neighbors, but I have no idea if you guys are neighbors. Probably not. Probably not a neighbor. If you are, that's cool, but you probably live somewhere else, because we all live somewhere else, usually. Except not lately. Lately, we're living where we're living. Wherever that is. So wherever you are, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Man, I was just about to pick my nose. I think not that I was about to pick my nose, I was actually kind of picking my nose. And then I realized, oh shit, I'm filming this. So maybe don't do that. Because I don't want to watch somebody and then see them inadvertently pick their nose. That's one of my pet peeves. If I see somebody at an intersection and they're picking their nose, I'm like, oh, I didn't want to see that. Even though I think nose picking now is probably at an all-time low if you're at an intersection. 20 years ago, when you stopped at an intersection, it was nose picking time. But now, it ain't nose picking time, it's pick up your phone picking time. And you pick up look at your phone, make a few email connections with friends and neighbors, see what's on the news, watch a video, I don't know, just whatever you're doing at an intersection with your phone. And so I think that takes priority over nose picking. And I don't know, man. Maybe noses around the world are feeling neglected. And I feel like I'm, doing stand-up now, all of a sudden. Or think I'm doing stand-up. I'm like, doing a jokey premise. Let's get to the jokes, Let's get to where the jokes are. What are we doing? Okay, I'm doing the Song Club. It's Song Club 38. That means 38 months of me coming at you with a podcast and 8 songs at least. And this month is no exception. We got 8 songs. So that's cool. The other thing that's cool is I haven't been listening to podcasts, so I probably am not going to sound like the people I listen to on podcasts. I'll probably sound like E? I'm going to start with E. Fuck A through D. I'm just going to start with E. So E, I probably sound like my wife or daughter. Hopefully, my wife. Because if I sound like my daughter, that means I sound like a 5-year-old. Chilled. Gotta take a pause to get some of that yerba mate into my blood system and let that shit shine through all the stupidity of my brain. Because why? Because it's 7 o'clock in the morning and I got a hard out. I got a hard out today. Now, is my hard out, I got to be on the Today Show with Bryant Gumbel because it's 1986? No. I don't have to be on the Today Show. Is it because I got to get to work? I got to get in my stretch Lamborghini and get on down to the Ransom Center, the Harry Ransom Center, and do a performance for the Queen of Goddamn Egypt? No. No, my heart out is circle time for my 5-year-old daughter. Now, does she want to do circle time? Hell no. Is she gonna do circle time? Oh, yeah. She'll be doing circle time. So I got to get done here. Then I got to go and get in the house, wake her ass up. And she'll be like, no, Daddy, I don't want to do circle time. I'm like, well, you're going to do circle time. And then I got to feed her first because her teacher is like, don't eat during circle time. I'm like, okay, we'll follow the rules. So I got to get her up, fed, and then ready for circle time, which lasts 15 minutes. It was 30 minutes, which was nice. It'd be nice if it was like 6 hours. But now they've shaved it down to a manageable 15 minutes. So for 15 minutes, she's sitting in front of the computer doing circle time with her 4 to 8 classmates who still do circle time. And that's the way I start my day. So that's the way I'll be starting this day. Now, could I have gotten up earlier? Nope, because I went to bed late, like Pet Cemetery late. Like, oh, I got to bury a pet in the yard, have it come to life, have it terrorize me, then also bury a child in that same pet cemetery, hoping it will come back to life. It does come back to life. And then now I've got a demon child that I guess I got to kill. I don't know. It's been like 40 years since I read Pet Cemetery, so I have no idea what happens in that movie or book. The movies, I think they've made the movies twice now. Both movies, basically everybody said, instead of going to see that movie, eat a bag of poop because they're not good. And eating a bag of poop would probably be better than watching the movie. So I didn't see the movies, and I did read the book, but like I said, I read it so long ago. And by so long ago, I mean, it was 30 years ago, but if I would have read it even a few months ago, probably still couldn't tell you anything about the book because my brain ain't got no memory functions no more. Brain used to have some memory functions. Now brain ain't got no mem functions. So that's the way my brain works. So how does this podcast or song club work? Well, let me tell you. You go to patreon.com/Bob Schneider and you sign up. And then every month I give you 8 delicious, ready for listening demo tracks that I made here in my studio or somewhere else on a computer. Can you find the, hey, Bobby? Oh, yes, listener. Can I find these tracks on Spotify or iTunes, maybe? Or SoundCloud, perhaps? Perchance to dream that maybe I might find it on SoundCloud? No, you can't. Can't find them anywhere. Only place you can get these beautiful, hand-sculpted, musical tracks is here at the Song Club. We make them fresh. We deliver them fresh. Sometimes we'll go into the vault. Now you might say to yourself, but Bobby, these vault tracks that you're talking about, are they as fresh as the new tracks that you just whipped up this month? No. They're even fresher. But how can they be even fresher? I'll tell you why. Because we keep them sealed in the vault, baby. We keep them sealed in the vault, and that's like the picture of Dorian Gray. Now, you may be saying, Bobby, I'm not familiar with that picture of Dorian Gray. And, Bobby, you might also be saying, you might not be familiar with the picture of Dorian Gray because every time I've said it so far, it doesn't sound like the actual title of what it is that you're talking about. It might be the portrait of Dorian Gray, or I don't know what it is, I also don't care what it is. But we all know what I'm talking about. Dorian Gray is I'm just calling it Dorian Gray now because I don't know what it's actually called. I know for sure it's not called Dorian Gray. I believe it's called The Picture of Dorian Gray. But when I say that, it doesn't sound right. The Portrait of Dorian Gray sounds wronger, but righter. Now, how could it sound wronger, but righter? I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I'll say things and they'll make sense, but they won't make sense. That's called a conundrum. I don't know who made up that word, but that word sounds like what it is. Like when I hear the word conundrum, I think, that sounds like what that word means. But when I hear the word tree, does that sound like a tree? It kind of does, actually. Now that I think about it, when I say the word tree, I think, yeah, that's the right word for what it is. Same with house. Not like a house you might see on this old house, where it's, like a house where they go through and build it and stuff. No. When I think of the word house, I think of a child's stick drawing of a house. And that word, house, describes the stick drawing of a house almost perfectly. Now, does respiratory system sound like the right word for what it is? Fuck no, it doesn't. Respiratory system doesn't sound anything like what it is. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because by the time somebody got around to fucking coming up with the term respiratory system, all the words were taken up. Like lungs. Lungs kind of sounds like what they are. Like when I hear the word lungs, I'm like, that sounds like what they are. So when they got to, like hundreds of thousands of years, tens of thousands of years later, after they came up with lungs, they're like, oh shit. There's this thing called we found there's a thing called, they didn't have a name for it. We got a thing where the lungs they get air and then it gets into the blood somehow. Oh shit, we got to come up with a name for it. What are we going to call it? Lung stuff? No, that doesn't sound scientific at all. If we call it lung stuff, nobody's going to fucking trust us to know what we're talking about. We got to come up with something that sounds more scientific. How about respiratory system? That sounds very scientific. And if we call it that, people will be like, oh, these motherfuckers know exactly what they're talking about. So let's call it the respiratory system. But does it sound like what it is? Actually, I will confess, after describing what it is, it kind of does sound like what it is. So I may have to take back what I just said. You know what? Let's just move the F on. Oh, yeah. By the way, I won't be cussing for the rest of this episode. I'll just be using the words F, D, P, M, and R. Because I'm not going to use the word rascal. And if I refer to the group Rascal Flats, I'll be calling it R Flats. By the way, they should name the group, they should rename the group R Flats. Because Rascal Flats probably not doing as good as they used to did. And if they change the name, people are like, oh, damn, man. Oh, damn, man, did you say R Flats? Are you talking about Rascal Flats? No, dog. I'm not talking about Rascal Flats. I'm talking about R Flats, man. They updated it. They done updated the name to R Flats. And man, boy, them boys be cooking. They're cooking with fire, son. That's right. They was cooking with gas. Just straight gas. Not lit. Nothing, just gas. And I'll never try to heat some water with gas, but that don't work. It don't heat shit, son. It don't heat ass. But now they ain't far, and man, boy, burnt my ear off with that new track by R Flat. I don't know if you are aware of what an accent is, if you're listening to this, but Jesus, our Lord in heaven and Savior in the beyond world, Christ. Whew, man, I cracked the seal on some shit, accent-wise. As you know, you were like, damn, he was cracking the seal on some accents. Now, you probably were like, is he gonna use the accent to talk about the example of how good the accents were? No. Or maybe I was. How weird would it be if at one point I just revealed to everybody that I'm actually Australian? And this entire time that I've been performing, I've been using an American accent because I didn't want anybody to know that I'm actually from the Outback Steakhouse. Because people are like, yeah, he's definitely a good writer. Why? Because he's from Texas, even though I'm not from Texas. But if they were like, oh, he's from the Outback Steakhouse, they'd be like, he can't write no good songs. Why? He from the Outback Steakhouse. Oh, yeah, they don't know how to write no songs from the Outback Steakhouse. I mean, they can write songs, but they're not that good. You know what they are good making that? The movies about the hobbits. No, son. That's New Zealand, son. New Zealand's making the movies about the hobbits, son. Australia, they ain't doing shit in Australia except surfing, getting ate by them great white sharks, having them titties all dangling out on the beach. What? What are you talking about? Yeah, son. You go to Australia, son, and them titties are all out on the beach. What? Yeah, man, they got them topless beaches, son, at the Outback Steakhouse. Anyways, all right, I'm just going to drop all that now. I'm going to drop all that nonsense. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pivot like Karen Swisher, if that is indeed her name, because that also doesn't sound right. Doesn't sound like a name. I mean, it's Swisher, and I think it's Karen Swisher. But I swear to God, nothing's sounding right today. You know what? Let's get into the songs. Let's get into the meat and the potatoes of what this podcast is, which is me, songwriter, not from the Outback Steakhouse, or am I? And the new songs and the old songs, but the freshest of songs. Let's start with a new fresh. This is a song called Muhammad Ali. Now, before I wrote this song, I had an idea of how to spell Muhammad Ali. But guess what I didn't know how to do even remotely? I had no idea how to spell Muhammad. Because, and I bet you don't either. Now, you might think you do, but when you look it up, you'll be like, damn, I didn't know he spelled it that way. I didn't either. I had to look it up. And then I was like, I would have lost that one. If there was a spelling bee where you had to spell people's names, like Karen Swisher or Meryl Streep or Muhammad Ali, I might have got Meryl Streep. I definitely would have got Swisher. And I would have lost on Muhammad Ali. Because I didn't know how to spell it, but now I do. And even when I'm looking at it right now on the computer screen, and I'm like, that shit look wrong. But it's right. Because I looked it up on the internet. All right, let's listen to it. And then maybe I will talk about it afterwards the way I do sometimes. And maybe I'll just forget that song even got played. And that'll be the end of it. All right, now we're waiting for it to start, and it's about to start, and here it comes. long intro. And it's a mysterious thing. It's a mysterious thing, this living we are doing. Most people got teeth in their face. Most people got 2 arms and 2 legs. Most people have hair on their big old heads. Some people don't have hair on their head. Some people walk around in a daze. Some people walk around a maze. The way the skies are ablaze when the sun's down around the world's way. Some people think they got the answers. Yeah, people think they got all the answers. But people don't know nothing about nothing. I mean, I don't know nothing about nothing. I mean, I know what I think I know. I mean, I think that nothing can be known. I guess that's what they call a paradox. So I guess I think I know what paradox means. So, I mean, it's just a word that wouldn't mean nothing to somebody who spoke a different language. I mean, it wouldn't mean nothing to you if you never heard the word before. Some of you might not even know what it means now. But I doubt it, cause y'all seem like intelligent people. I mean, you seem like the kind of people that like to think things through. Well, the truth is, I really don't know you people. So, yeah, that's the long version of that song. When I first wrote it, it was like 12 minutes, and I think that version is like 11 minutes. So I'd already cut off a minute of it when I recorded that version, which is the last version I have on my computer. And, but now I got it down to like a reasonable 4.5 minutes, and a lot of that stuff that you just heard is not even on that final track. So when you hear me play it live, you'll be like, oh, I like that part about the paradox. That's not in there anymore. In fact, there's a bunch of stuff that's not in there. So what I like to do, because I'm cool, is I like to give people all of this option. So you'll be getting that long version and the short version in your Dropbox, in your song club grab bag, in your present, in your song present sitch this week, bitch. So yeah, so you'll get both of them, and then you can decide which one you like better. Now, I played the long one for my wife, and she said, I hate this song because it's boring and it's long. It's getting her to listen to 3.5 minutes of a song is like trying to get the entire country of Canada to all lay down and go night-night at the same time. It's hard to get that many people to do something, just like it's hard to get my wife to listen to a 3.5 minute song. So try getting her to listen to a 12-minute song, and first of all, you can't, and second of all, she'll be mad, which she was, and then she's like, I hate that song. But then a lot of people were like, oh, I love that song, and so then I was conflicted because I usually believe my wife, but then I like to believe other people when they say stuff too. So I'm like, well, some people like it, and then some people, and then now my wife kind of likes it because it's shorter. So blah 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 bitty blah bitty blah 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 blah. So that's that song, Muhammad Ali, and also now I know how to spell Muhammad. Okay, so let's listen to another song, and this is another new song, and it's called Still Among the Stars. Now, when you hear the title Still Among the Stars, you might think, that's an interesting title, son. And it is. And you might think, oh, I wonder if this is going to be like 2001: A Space Odyssey. You know, like a real serious masterpiece of a song. And then when it starts, you'd probably be like, oh yeah, this sounds like the masterpiece of a song. But then it gets into the verses and you realize, Oh, Bobby's having some fun. Bobby's having some fun with the lyrics on this one. So the chorus is kind of like 2001 Space Odyssey, but then the verses are like Mel Brooks' Spaceballs, which is pretty funny title now that I think about it. All right, let's listen to it. Here it is, Still Among the Stars. Let's see what happens, boy. What? Yeah. That's not on the track, that's just me.
Up all night, just thinking, going real deep, like Abe Lincoln. Not into lockjaw, into bras, bra. I got the dough, ma, stashed in my sock drawer. Hot like cold cash, give them girls whiplash. I got my hip flask in Bangladesh. I'm a bug in the cosmetic industry. Hear this, don't speak unless the judge says you can speak, bitch.
Whoa.
Tell me where we are. I haven't been this far before. Are we still among the stars? 'Cause I'm not sure.
2001 Space Odyssey, son. Yeah. That's right, that's right, that's right.
I got their frozen cold toes and my clothes. Don't know if I'm coming or goes, but I blows my money on the hose. Rose from the dead, my bed's all covered in pillows. Got glow sticks wrapped around my neck like Beck. Triple threat, power shot, poop deck. Deliver manga with the greatest of ease. I eat cheese when I please. Don't worry about bees if they come around me. I ain't got no allergies to this thing. I sing about the things you won't hear, like beer, ear, skies when they're clear. Don't feel I got the rap game on lockdown. Wound tighter than the butthole of a space clown.
Space clown.
Tell me where we are. I haven't been this far before. Are we still among the stars?
I feel like that chorus on that song is like, hey man, come up with some better fucking verse lyrics. Cause that chorus is hot. Like that's a fucking hot hit. But then those verses like space clown, like you're wound tighter than the butthole of a space clown. Come on, man. Come up with some better lyrics, son. And let's take this to number 1. Hun. Let's cover those buns with cinnamon. Young one? Maybe? All right. You know what? Those are new. Let's dig into the vault and see what we can find. This is a song called The Good Times Man. Some people are like, hey, Bobby, where do these songs come from? And I don't know where they come from. I really don't. And I don't ask questions. Because why ask questions? Just let them come from where they come from and let the world enjoy them, is what I say. Anyways, this is called Good Times Man. I feel like this is like Dr. Johnny Feelgood from New Orleans. Let's listen to it. Right now I have nothing to say about it, but maybe if I listen to it, I'll be like, oh, something will get jogged in the old story brain part of me. All right, here we go. Whoa. Yeah. Funky. It's a funky jam.
I'm a good times man, that's what I am. I can make a good time just as fast as I can. I can turn a shoulda right into a wood. I give it all away cause it feels so good. The brighter the wire, the better the hit. If you wanna see the sun, take a look at my shit. Take a look at my shit. Oh, I can make you happy. So happy for a while. I'ma take you best for you. The wetter the better, you unforgettable live. If you wanna see the sun, take a look at my ship. Take a look at my ship. Oh, I could make you happy, so happy for a while. Oh, I could make you happy, so happy.
I like the honesty in that song. I could make you happy, so happy, not forever, for a while. And by a while, you might be like, does he mean years? Does he mean decades? Probably not. I have a feeling what I meant was for the next 7 to 12 minutes. And then I got appointments. I got some appointments I got to make. So yeah, there you have it. That's the Good Times Man. And I like playing that song. I liked playing it when Conrad Chacroon was the drummer in the band, because that motherfucker had a feel that was real nice. Now, who do I have in the band now? Wayne Salzman. Does he have a nice feel? Oh yeah, he's got a nice feel too. He can play anything, Wayne Salzman, and he can play that song very beautifully. But I will say this, Conrad Chacroon has an undefinable thing that where he can play certain things, like that song in particular, probably better than anybody can. And that's what makes him special. Now, what makes Wayne special is he can play that one pretty damn well, but then he can play everything else better than everybody. So he's real good. He's real good, and Conrad's real good, and there's a bunch of people that are real good. And the wonderful thing about my life is I get to play with a lot of people that are real, real, real good. Now, am I good? I'm pretty good at writing a song. I'm pretty good at entertaining an audience sometimes. And because of that, I get to hire people who are amazing. And both those guys are amazing. And there are other people that I play with that are also amazing. And that's amazing, and everything's amazing. That's right. Let's do another old one. This is one called Given Sugar, Given Time. And this is a song that I feel like I would have written if I would have been born on the Little House on the Prairie and had written a song back in those times for my sweetheart. I would have written this song. Let's listen to it.
Given sugar, given time, I'm gonna make you mine, just like berries in the wine. Oh, I'm gonna make you mine. So tell the devil he can go to hell. He can try and weave his spell. He can do what he wants, but he'll come to see. Before too long, you're coming home with me. Tell the boys in the fancy cars, you might as well try and plan a trip to Mars. Yeah, they might have the money and they might have the time, but they can't do nothing to change your mind. Tell your father with his big shotgun, I ain't here just to have some fun. I hope this ring will help him understand that I'm the one that's always gonna be your man. If there's one thing I know for sure, your love's a treasure, fair and pure.
If there's one thing I know for sure, your love's a treasure, fair and pure. If there's one thing I know for sure, I don't know if that's the one thing, because I'm not sure. I want it to be, for sure. But is it? I don't know. If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that my arms are attached to my body right now. That I know for sure. Whether your love is fair and pure, or whatever the fuck it was that I said, whatever the F it was, excuse me. Sorry for the language. Anyways, yeah, but when you're writing a song, you can't get too caught up in the details. You just got to kind of go with whatever the song dictates, So when the song dictates it, you say that, then you do it that way. Let's do an old song. So back in the day when I was in a band called the Scabs, I wrote a song called Lonelyland with my buddy Adam Temple, but I never had a recording of it. We never even did a demo of it or anything. So years later, I recorded a demo of it, and that's what this next song is. And I don't know if I even did it justice or not, but because of this song, that's how I ended up with the name Lonelyland for the first album. And actually, even before that album came out, for the first year that I was playing at the Saxon Pub on Monday nights, I called the group Lonelyland because the idea of calling something Bob Schneider was just like, what? No. I'm going to call it Bob Schneider? No, that's not a good name for anything. And I had this song called Lonelyland, and I was like, oh, that'd be a great name for a band. But here's what I wasn't going to do. I wasn't going to get into a situation where I was in a band again, because I'd been playing in bands. I've been playing in a bands for years. And I just didn't like the dynamics of a band. I didn't want a democracy. And that's not what this was going to be. This was going to be a solo project, but I was going to call it Lonelyland. Because I wasn't going to let anybody tell me what I was and wasn't going to play. And so that's the way it was going to be. But I didn't want to call it Bob Schneider. So I called it Lonelyland. And we played for about a year. And then we went into the studio to record an album. And even then, it was going to be called Lonelyland. And at some point, I just decided I was going to I was going to name the album Lonelyland and say it was by Bob Schneider. And just because I didn't want to confuse anybody. Like Wilco, I guess that's a band, but it's really Jeff Tweedy, I think, calling the shots. I assume. I don't know. Maybe it is a band. Either way, I was like, you know what? I'm going to call this album Lonelyland, and I'm going to say it's by Bob Schneider. And that's the way it went down. And that's that story. Now, was that story interesting? Yes. Was it funny? No. Does everything need to be funny? Yeah, pretty much. If it's not funny, does it make it sort of almost immediately boring? And what's the point? Yeah. Did I do a CNN interview 2 nights ago? Yes. During the interview, did every question that the lady asked me beg me to answer using an accent and being a silly person? Oh my God. That's all I wanted to do the entire time. Like, the lady would ask something and the first reaction would be like she said I was like the king of Austin, and I was like, oh, I'm the king, bitch. But that's what I wanted to say, but I couldn't because I'm on CNN. So I got to, answer all like, well, in reference to what you were saying, I got to do that shit. Which, by the way, not my forte, doing that kind of response. Call and response dance. Anyways, I did the best I could, but man, people are probably just like, damn, that dude seems sort of similar. Tort it, elf. It's because I had a lot of answers that I couldn't say because it would have been silly, and that lady would have been like, what is wrong with this guy? So I tried to, play it cool. And then they used a screen grab of me where it literally looked like a surprised clown. And I'm like, don't use that Space grab. Don't use that space grab. Hey, are you going to use that space grab of Bob Schneider for the CNN YouTube clip? Okay, yeah, use that space grab. Okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds great. All right. Anyways, here's the song Lonelyland, my version of it, from years later after the song was actually written. And the reason why the album was called Lonelyland, the first one, the one that everybody loves. They're like, can you play more songs off Lonelyland? Please, can you do it? Yeah, here it is. Here's one of the songs from there. Hey, this isn't on Lonelyland. I know.
If I had $1,000,000 and was as strong as Superman,
Yeah.
and with my bare hands open cans, and had a golden sparkling tan, well, I'd still be waiting here in Lonelyland, waiting here in Lonelyland. And if I had a minivan, could ride as good as old Ayn Rand, and all the women in Iran decided that they'd be my number one fan, well, I'd still be waiting here in Lonelyland, waiting here and if I change my
Damn, that's some trip hop sound, son. Throw some trip hop sound in synthesizer, son. Is this the 90s? Are we listening to some trip hop, son? Because that's some trip hop sounding synthesizer swirls. You got them synthesizer swirls. I love the synthesizer swirls that you got, son. Yeah, so there's that. Should I do a new one? I got 3 left. Man, that yerba mate, I need another yerba mate. By the way, the yerba mate, when I first started drinking it 2 months ago, was packing a powerful punch. But now I'm like, my body's like, hey man, we know what it is now, so you need to give us a lot more. So that's what's going on with my body. Just checking in with you and my body. Checking in with you and my body. Wanting you to know about my body, but not the cool stuff. No, I'm talking about the physiological action of agents like yerba mate in my bloodstream. Checking in with you and my body with my Patreon friends. And also the people that aren't on Patreon that are listening to this podcast for some ungodly, unknown reason, because it's free and they're getting their money's worth if they're listening, but they're not getting the tracks. And if you want the tracks, you go to patreon.com/Bob Schneider and you get them for a reasonable rate. Unless you want to be a big spender, then it's not necessarily a reasonable rate. But then it's a cool rate for me and also maybe for you, because then you're supporting an artist like me who is so good that you want to support him with your money. And you might say, does he really need the money? And I'll probably say, I don't right now, but I could use it eventually, because for the foreseeable future, I'm not going to be able to make no revenue. Oh, out in the real world. But then some of you are saying, Bobby, weren't you going to use the money from this podcast to make an album? And I would say, yes, I am going to do it, but that got canceled as well because of the corona. Now, some of you might be like, hey, Bobby, you should turn that into a song. Already did. And it's a wrap. By the way, that's how songs are written. Just like that. Except if all songs were written like that, all songs would be bullshit. Because that song was bullshit. Now, were there parts of that song that were pretty good? No. But there might have been, had I kept it going, there might have been a good chunk in there. It's really, that's all you're looking for when you're writing a song is you do what I just did, and then you're looking for a good chunk. And then if you find a chunk that's good, you can lop off the chunks that weren't good or that weren't even chunky, and then try to find some more chunks, and you put the chunks together, and then you get a song like this next one, which is a little older, but it's not that old. This is from maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know, actually, when I wrote it, and it doesn't really matter. But let's listen to it. It's called Love You Won. And I guess I talk about how, like, you can't decide what your heart is going to do. Your heart is going to do what your heart wants to do. The heart wants what it wants. And that's the way it is, son. So let's listen to Love You Won.
I used to just roll the dice. I never took anybody's advice. Just did what had to be done. Now I give up. Love you won.
Damn.
I know your general rule. Give up your heart. You're a fool. And I believed it when I was young, but I give up. Love you won.
Oh, shit. That's me actually playing the trumpet right there. It's not bad. Not bad. Damn, play it, son.
I rolled the couch out onto the lawn.
Oh, shit.
I squeezed the trigger till the bullets was gone.
Oh, damn, stuff's going on.
I do a roll around the sun.
Unable to do that.
I
That's
give up.
allegory.
Love you won. Put me in with the rest of the saps.
That's me listening to a lot of Tom Waits. Put me in with the rest of the saps. Like, Tom Waits would never say that, but when I wrote that line, I'm like, part of me was like, oh, that's some Tom Waits shit right there. And then Tom Waits be like, no, it's not, son. No, it ain't, son. That ain't me, man. By the way, that's the way Tom Waits talks. Not in the movies, but when he's talking to himself. Yeah, well, that's not the way I doesn't. That's the way Tom Waits talks. All right, so I got two more. I got two more new ones. This is one called Space Between Us. I don't know what to say about it. I feel like we should just listen to it, and then, again, maybe something will come up. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. Let's check it out. Here it is. Brand new one, Space Between Us.
Can you come quickly? I think there's something wrong.
80s.
For 10,000 miles, the radio's been playing the same song.
80s.
And the front yard's full of cops, and the dogs are going crazy. And there's something filling up the space and pouring out between us. I couldn't understand the thing. And there's something filling up the space between us. Oh my God.
That's some 80s right there for sure. Melodica.
And you can cut down the trees that we planted.
No T in planet.
But you can't take back the words that were spoken.
Oh, this is my favorite part of this song coming up.
And I'd rather be wrong than unhappy.
Favorite line right here.
And I'd rather be dreaming than be woken. And there's so
I'd rather be dreaming than woke. And use the word woke in the song, but I added the N at the end of it so people don't think I use the word woke. By the way, I have a friend, Troy Dillinger is his name. I use the word loosely when I say friend. He considers himself a stand-up comedian, and he can be funny. I'm not denying the fact that he can be funny, but then in between being funny, there's lots of times when he's not funny, and he doesn't know when those times are. And we were having a conversation years ago when that woke word first came into the vocabulary or consciousness of people or whatever, and he used it in a sentence. And I fell on the ground laughing at him because he didn't use it like it was a joke or something. He used it like serious, like he was being serious. And and there's my iPad just thought I was talking to it because I said serious. He thought he was being serious, and he used the word woke. Now, is Troy Dillinger a white guy? Yeah. So don't use the word woke unless just don't use it like in a serious manner. That's all I'm saying. I know that sounds, even just saying it right now sounds racist, but I feel like using the word woke seriously is like that to me seems just ridiculous. So anyways, I used it in that song, but I didn't use it because I used EN at the end. Woken. Which, by the way, woken doesn't sound right at all. Maybe because now woke is now the thing. Like, yo, you awake? Yo, you woken? Were you... Did my loud music... Did you become woken? None of it sounds right anymore. I know you were like, no, Bob, it's waken, not woken. But I feel like woken is a word. I don't know. Who cares? You know what I care about? I care about you guys, and I care about how much it means to me that you guys support me on Patreon. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It does help me make records in the studio when the quarantine is over, which I guess it sort of is in Texas. So everything's cool. Everything's cool here now. It's going to be all good now that everybody's just doing their thing. And, nothing's changed? Wait, no, that can't be. So what you're saying is nothing's changed, but everybody's just doing their thing? So why did we quarantine again in the first place? And now nothing's changed and now we're not? So what the F? Okay, yeah, so everything's cool. Okay, cool, everything's cool. All right, great. Glad to hear it. Glad everything's cool. All right, cool. Everything's cool now. So, yeah, by the way, in case you were wondering, yeah, everything's cool, especially in Texas and other places. But for sure, everything's cool here. So, in case you're wondering, like, let's say you're not from Texas, you're like, I wonder if everything's cool in Texas. Oh, yeah, everything's cool here. So, don't worry about it because everything's cool. Okay, cool. Everything's cool. All right, well... You know what? On that note, let's get the F out of the song club. I'm going to end with a brand new song called Memory, and it's about how fucked up memory is, because it really is. I don't know what's real and what happened and what didn't happen. I just have this idea of something that happened, and then that idea over time becomes the thing that happened, even though for sure that didn't happen. And it's like, when you go into a house that you grow up in, and you have this idea of what the house is, and then you actually see it and you're like, oh, this is different than my memory of it, because your memory is not good. Now, it's better than not knowing anything at all, for sure, but unreliable, like everything. So, but, it doesn't matter because everything's cool. So everything's cool here. And because it's cool, I'm going to say, cool, everybody. Thanks so much. And join me next month when everything will be just as cool as it is now. Okay. Let's go out. Here it is, Memory. Y'all take care, and we'll see you on the next Song Club. Peace.
It's shocking to see how the years have taken their toll. Don't mind, to me you'll always be rock and roll. Do you remember that time we got pulled over? Both of us were far from sober, but that cop just let us go. You made him laugh, so he let us go. Such a tricky thing. You think you remember what happened, but you don't remember what happened. You just remember